Get connected with Take Two Radio on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio. For email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit Take2Radio.com.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Take Two Radio. Sorry this is a last-minute thing, but we're very super excited to have a special guest with us. And I have David as my co-host, and I don't want to keep the guest waiting because I know he's limited on time. So let's go ahead and welcome the award-winning actor who you should all know from one or two or maybe five soaps. Welcome, rick-hearst.
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm glad we can go ahead and get this done. Sorry, I mean, we were kind of trading back and forth on Twitter there, and I saw your message, and quite honestly, I think it's my fault because I thought I tweeted it back to you. What an odd thing to say. I thought I tweeted back to you. I thought I tweeted it back to you this morning, but, you know, it's one of those situations where you're like, oh, I completed it, but I forgot to hit send. So at 4:30 I went, ooh. I should probably hit send. I hope it's okay. So thanks for putting it together so quick. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, thankfully, you know, these days we have all the technology, and I happened to be on my cell phone and saw that I had a message because I wasn't at my desktop or my laptop. So if I didn't have my phone, I wouldn't have seen it. But thankfully we did.
Exactly.
So we're all good.
Thank God for those little things that are literally glued to our bodies now, right?
You know, isn't that the truth? You can't go anywhere. And it's funny because you have a lot of things with you, like I do, because, of course, I do the show from my house. But in one room, I've got my desktop, I got my laptop, I've got my cell phone, I got my phone.
Got a lot of tops in there, Pam.
Yeah.
I know.
Same here.
Except my own. No, I'm only kidding. But anyways, thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. I know you don't have a lot of time, but if it's okay with you, we'd like to ask you a couple soap questions before we talk about the event.
Well, sure. I like Dove. It's it's very sudsy, and it seems to cover my body pretty well.
And it must be mighty clean.
Yeah. I'm a very squeaky clean guy.
You're so funny. Well, you know, as I mentioned, you're an award-winning actor, and that's multi-awards for those that don't know, which I don't know who wouldn't know. Where do you keep those awards, and how does it feel to win so many times? I mean, everybody loves you.
Oh, geez. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Well, there I'm sure there's some. There's got to be some out there who have less than a favorable opinion of me. But, you know, again, we keep those people away.
That's right.
But
That's true.
Where do I keep? I keep them. You know, it's funny. Years ago, when I won my first Emmy, and I was a kid. Of 25 years old. I was really proud about it, and I've always looked at them as, I don't ever want to look at them as the end game. I always like to look at them as benchmarks, and I almost kind of test myself to a place of going, yeah, this is good, but, you know, what else you got, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but as far as putting them anywhere, so with that, the reason I said is because I would keep them in a place that wasn't very prominent, because I thought that would be kind of haughty to show them off. Like, you know, oh, you got Emmys, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But the hysterical thing was, and I had them like three different places. One was like behind two books and one bookcase, and then I think I had one, I don't know where the heck I had them, in a bathroom or something like that. It's just, they were just odd, weird places, just nondescript, random places. And I said, you know, one day I have a good friend of mine, it was another actor, his name's Jack Noseworthy, and Jack says to me, you know, he comes in my house and he looks and goes, Ricky, because he's knows me that long, he calls me Ricky. He says, Ricky, where are your Emmys? And I said, gosh, I don't know. He says, you won those. He says, those need to be out in the middle. See this area right here? And there's literally a space in the house that we live in now. There was just this huge, it's very high ceilings, but this huge wall of like 15, 20 feet across and about 20 feet straight up. And I was like, what do we do with that? And he said, you need to get something here, and you need to feature them in there. And sure enough, so we found a piece that's just this monstrous piece of wood that is not coming with us when we move. I just is not happening. So I literally and right there in the front, I listened to one of my best friends and said, okay, you know what, I'm going to present them there. And it's actually it didn't feel weird because when I walk in, anytime I look at them, I go, you know what? It's not the end game. It's not whatever. It's like that's an accomplishment, something I should be proud of, and know that what you're capable. It just constantly reminds me of what you're capable of. But each one of them kind of carry a different memory for me more than anything. Like the first one was really significant of the birth of my son and having to overcome a lot of adversity in terms of starting something new, jumping into adulthood. I mean, we moved, I started a new show, I was replacing somebody and all that. And then the second one was, coming into an environment that was, full of really, big game players. And I wanted to make sure, I really stepped up my game, and I knew after I had done that I had done something really, pretty incredible. And my father had passed away, a couple of years prior to that. So that was very significant for me. And then the last time was, being able to look at it and say, that third one was about, taking something that would be seemingly, realizing that seemingly a performance that you may do every day may not matter. You may think it may not matter. Sorry about that. It may not be big story. It may not be you're in front burner A-line story. I was literally sort of in the back. No, I don't want to say the background, but it was during the whole we call it the monkeypox virus back in the day when the whole hospital was like everybody's like it's the outbreak. Yeah. Oh God. Oh yeah. It's going down. It's like, oh, man, I hope this doesn't get into my lungs because is my contract coming up right now? I don't know. So it was good. Thankfully, it wasn't. But I was able to, kind of pull out a performance that aligned with something that I felt very strongly about the character and the relationship with his mother and, where he was at that moment and, having that moment of truth in him where he walks around with it every day and people got a chance to see that. And the only way that you would see it is if he was, literally delirious with fever. So, that's probably a longer answer to the question, but,
I loved it.
That's what I started, that's what I started to kind of realize with regards to, where do I put them, So I put them in a place so I remember. So I get to remember those times and remember what it all meant to me,
Yeah, and too, it's also a memory like when you feel like you're having a hard time, maybe even if it's just something easy like joining a new soap or a new program or something, you can look at that and say, hey, I did it before, I can do it again.
Yeah, it is. It's never about you're done. I've really tried to never live my life as, well, you know what, I've hit my peak and that's the end of that. It's like, no, if I hit my peak in anything, I always say, okay, either I find a different way to come at it or find something that's like that and to invest myself in. And I just try to be the very best at whatever it is that I'm doing, whether it's, being a father or whether it's, being a husband, which is frankly our son. And that's the most important things to me in my life. And, everything else is scenery that goes along with it. But, it's still, those are extremely important things to me with regards to my work. I take it very, very seriously, and I enjoy it. It's something that's a huge, huge part of me. So.
Exactly, and it doesn't hurt to get a paycheck either. So.
No. It's nice when you get paid to do what you love to do.
Right.
And the older I get, which seems to be happening, no matter how much I try to stop it, I only look towards doing the things that I love and finding a way to make them profitable. So, I'm very fortunate and blessed that I get to do that. There's not a lot of actors out there who could even say that they've made $10, and let alone what I've been able to make. So
it's true.
Exactly. Well, I did not get to watch Guiding Light. I do watch Days now, but I didn't see it when you were on there. But I've seen you on Bold and the Beautiful and General Hospital and Y&R. And David actually watched Guiding Light, so he has a question for you about that.
Yes, I do, sir.
Is it about my hair? I mean, because I really
No.
I apologize.
You caught me off guard.
I have an etched-in memory sitting on my wife's dresser that of the two of us when we got married, because that's when it happened. So anyway, go ahead, ask your question.
But, okay, on Guiding Light, you came on to replace Carl T. Evans as Alan Michael Spaulding.
Correct.
Did you have to read up on Carl's technique or decide to make Alan Michael your own?
That's a great question, Dave. I don't try to study what other actors how they approach a role, because we all approach it in a different way because we're all different people. But what I try to do is I try to see what the actor has done with it, and I didn't want to discount what Carl had done, but I wanted to see if there was any similarities in the two of us. I wanted to mostly find out kind of what he was dealing with in story and the essence of the character. I wasn't really looking to try to be him or be better than him or feel like I couldn't be as good as him. I just knew that I was going to come in with my own take on it and also try to take what was already laid out there before me, which is kind of been the way I did there. And when I came in to do the same thing at Y&R, I came in to replace two different guys that actually had played Matt Clark. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was so very, 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 very happy, and I know just I see all the comments to you on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter that everybody was so happy to have you back on GH after all these years.
Yeah.
I mean, how did that feel? I mean, that was a long time in between coming back.
Yeah, pretty emotional. It was a kind of an out of body experience. It's like, well, like I said, it's just coming home, and I felt like I had, I was going to see old friends. I was going to get a chance to play, and I was going to get a chance to play in old shoes on new ground, and that's really what I couldn't have asked for anything better than when I came in. So it was a very overwhelming feeling to see so much support. I mean, by virtue of the fact that my Twitter following, literally, I think it jumped thousands. It jumped a thousand followers in one day, and that was like crazy for me. I mean, I'm sure there are others that go, "Well, big deal." I'm like, no, that's a lot. That was crazy. But it felt really, really awesome, and I definitely felt like I was able to come back to where the character was and add my own flair on it, my own history, and they did the same thing. Ron really was very, he really honored the character in terms of knowing the history, where he came from, incorporating that, and then putting what he felt was, what he knows, frankly, is good writing. And great story. And I was like, man, this is freaking awesome. I want to hang forever here. Man, this is good.
Yeah.
With having so many of our beloved characters back over the last year or so, it doesn't feel like any of you have been gone for that amount of time. And I think it draws in even not new viewers, but viewers that used to watch that may not watch now, but know that you guys are all back. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So I'm sure that's had to help a lot, because I mean, every time I turned on the TV to watch it and I would see one of my beloved characters coming back, I was like, oh my God, the memories of this, back in the 80s of Luke and Laura, and everybody was around at that time. It's wonderful, and I love how they honor that, and they continue to do it, bringing people in periodically. You get more stories these days with a lot more characters, but you just got to wait a couple weeks in between to see everybody, Yeah,
it is. It's a pretty broad canvas right now, or pretty full canvas right now. But truth be told, it's hold on a second. I mean, I think it literally you gotta take care of the people, you gotta take care of the fans, and that laid the groundwork and the foundation for the show, and still are watching it, and let them, again, this is serial drama. Serial drama meaning we want to follow historically and characters, and you get attached to them and watch them grow up and watch them go through things, because you may go through them together and what have you. That's been the nature of soap opera for, as long as much as I was a kid. So.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it's wonderful that they incorporate the past characters with the new characters, and it just keeps the story going. They know definitely what they're doing over there.
Yep.
So, is there one particular character that you've played that you could say is your favorite, or have you loved them all for one reason or another?
You mean of all the characters that I've played on different soaps?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously have I loved others more than others? You know what? I don't think I knew what the heck where I was and what I was really doing. I mean, I created a character and I did what it was when I first started on Days as Scotty Manning, and I was just kind of like thrown in there, and it's my first TV job, so I really couldn't tell you if that was my favorite. I tell you what was great about it is getting a chance to work with people like Matt Carey. I mean, icons.
Oh,
icons.
yeah.
People that, and Francis and Susan Seaforth.
Yep.
I mean, these are all people, of course, two of them have already passed, and Susan, my God, she and Bill, I looked at them. Recently, I saw a picture of them not too long ago. I was like, wow, they look incredible. It's like
I know.
They were on the cover. They were on the cover of Time or Life. Which one? I can't even remember.
Yeah, they do. I mean, even you don't age. Maybe you get a little bit of pepper in the hair there, but other than that, you don't age. Sure. You look gorgeous.
Yeah. As soon as I get the pepper in there, as soon as I get the salt in there, I throw the pepper right on top of it to make sure that it's balanced.
Right.
Got to make that happen.
I know that feeling.
But yeah, I know. I get my days where I just go, I just let it go, and then I let it go for a little too long, and then when I get a cut and I look at it and I go, oh wow, that's where it is. Okay, let's not do that right. Okay. So it gets a little. Yeah, I'm turning 50 this year, so it's pretty incredible. So many of my friends we're all turning 50 this year, and everybody's like, hey, can you come to my 50th? And I was like, dude, you're going to friggin' Barbados. And it's at the same time as my birthday, And then I have another friend who's in Dallas who's turning 50 in the next month. It's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Well,
at least you're all around the same age then, and nobody can tease you for getting older, because you can throw it right back at them.
But no, we all kind of that's actually, Sam, that's actually not true. We turn around and we tease each other because one maybe 2 weeks or 5 hours or 10 days or whatever. We're several months older or younger than the next one. Like I have my friend Jack. We go back to him. He and I are 2 weeks apart. He's 2 weeks older than I am, and I always let him know that. I'm like, oh, that's right. You're 2 weeks older than I am. Oh, how does it feel?
You sound like siblings.
We are. We're really tight. He is like I have very few friends that I can call, brothers or sisters, for that matter. And that's okay. I have a lot of acquaintances, a lot of people I love hanging with. But the older you get, you really realize that you only have time for a certain group of people, and the most is just your family that's closest to you, and then just a few friends. It's just because you can't give that much. You can't give that kind of quality of yourself to everybody. It's just
exactly
not everybody's jives. So
so
cool.
Yeah, well, you'll be given some quality time to your event that's coming up, so we'll talk about that
next.
Yes, ma'am,
I am so excited. Everything got switched around, and we were like, oh, I can't. And I've been talking to Tyler and Jason. We're all jazzed about it. I really, I encourage anybody who has not gotten their tickets. I know that the last-minute rush always comes, and everybody buys at the door. My advice is to you, get it out of the way. Make sure you got your ticket. It will fill up. I mean, it's already we're I want to say we're close to halfway or something, but we're really starting to gain steam again. And again, the date is better for a lot of folks in the fall. And I mean, I'm so jazzed to come up there. I can't even tell you. So I've already made my flight arrangements, and like I said, Tyler and Jason and I have been chatting. Tyler's on vacation right now. Jason's just got back from East Coast, so we're gonna throw together a little promotional video that we're gonna throw out there, so you guys make sure that you keep on it. But it's not just to watch and laugh and like and definitely share, but it's definitely to make sure you guys get your tickets way ahead of time. So looking forward to coming to that Palace Theater.
Yeah, it's Rochester, New York on October 24th. Doors open 7:30. Event starts 8:30. Water Street Music Hall. Tickets vary on price from $40 to $175. And then Syracuse, New York.
And those vary. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut off about that, but I wanted to say there's really different levels of entry, as it were, on the way up there, and there's really a valuable. That $175 ticket really is a valuable ticket because it's serious one-on-one time with all of us. And we're coming up with some special promotions and kind of giveaways and stuff like that. We've kind of been putting our heads together. So, if you're even thinking about doing that, you're going to get more than you ever would have bargained for that ticket. But anyway, I'm sorry, Pam. Go ahead.
That's okay. That's okay. That's good information to know. I mean, that's what people, they want to know what they're spending almost $200 for. So that's a good thing.
Totally. Yeah, three guys. Go ahead, finish.
Three guys, yeah.
Yeah, three guys. Sit down one-on-one time, autographs. It's straight up FaceTime. I mean, I know that a lot of folks they just for a quick lunch or a quick 5 minutes. I know that people were paying a lot at fan club weekend. Hundreds and some of them pay even for certain people, $1,000. But we really wanted to make sure that it's a value for the three of us to get all that one-on-one time, to get those special pictures, to get them signed, all that good stuff. Photo ops yourself. It's great. It's going to be really, really great.
And that's what the fans go for too. That's their whole reason for going is to the one-on-one time or the picture or the autograph or whatever. I mean, it's nice to sit in the audience and have you guys on stage and talking, but it's better, when you get to go and
be
talk
with you
in person.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to trust me. I'm going to give a good show. I guarantee you, I'm going to give a good show. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been able to see me on stage, but lately especially, I'm a little on fire. So you're going to want to keep up. I mean, I'm definitely the chatty Cathy of the three of us, and only because I'm older. I got a lot of stories. I got a lot of cool things, and I'm thinking about kind of putting a different spin on the three of us being there. I may MC kind of, and I may do sort of like talk show host with the boys, and just play around. I don't know. I've just been thinking a lot about how I want to approach the event, so that again, it's not just like hi, here we are. It's like no, you get entertainment out of us while you're there. That's why everybody comes. So.
Yeah.
So, definitely. Syracuse. We've got Syracuse on the 25th at the Palace Theater, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Palace Theater, $100 straight across the board for that event, and it's going to be good.
And that one's from 12 to 3 p.m., and I have that ticket information and event information on take2radio.com. Just look for Events by Wendy on the front page. You click on it, and it'll take you to the tickets so you can purchase them right there and then.
Definitely.
And she's, also everybody's also on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere, so you can, if you have any questions, go and find somebody and ask away, and they just want you to show up. I mean, that's why you guys do these things, because you want to honor the fans besides meeting them and giving them what they want.
Yeah, right. Connect them. Well, listen, last thing I wanted to say was that's really how I've done all events. Big. I will tell you, the big events are not as they're not. We're not doing as many of them. Because it takes a lot for the travel, and it's a lot of people, and it's very time intensive, and it really, I know for myself, I'm drained after that. I'm like, I got to go lay down.
Right.
But because I really like to spend time with the fans one-on-one. And I do that, and I try to make sure every fan knows that I personally acknowledge who they are and why they're there. And I wonder, they crack up sometimes. They're like, "Why are you asking me questions?" I'm like, "I want to know about you. Talk to me about you." And they're like, "Oh, great." And then they leave. And the good thing is they always leave whenever I do an event with them, and say, "Wow, I mean, I felt like I was just hanging with a good friend, even though I love him on the show. And I just felt like he made me feel so comfortable." And that's really, kind of my credo about all of it. Anybody, I got pushed it, long time ago. I got, I was a fan of a specific actor out there back in the day of a very popular show, and not to his fault. I get it. He's talked to and met a million people, but it was like half of 5 seconds when he signed my picture. He didn't even take the picture with me. He signed the picture and looked away. He didn't even look me in the eye, and I was like,
"Oh,
really?"
Yeah.
So that's to this day. I remember that. So that's very important.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. I had that happen to me one time, and that's not very nice. I thought, geez, I spent all this money. I watch you all the time. I, follow you on Twitter. I give you shout-outs. I do all these things, and you couldn't even look at me in the face.
Just to say hi. Hey, thanks so much for being here. What have you. Thanks for your support. I love it. I hope you're enjoying the show, and what do you like, whatever. Make some sort of contact. Well, cool. Well,
yeah, and a lot of fans are very afraid and very shy to meet somebody. So, when you can make them feel comfortable like that, you really did, a job well.
Yeah, totally. Cool.
So,
very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I just thanks so much, Pam, for, reaching out to me. I know it's been a while. We've been trying to do this for a long time, and I'm glad we got a chance to chat. Dave, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, David's going to actually be at that Syracuse event, so.
Oh, cool. Well, I am. You would. I kind of figured you would.
Yeah. Well, he's in New York. I'm in Chicago, so you have to make your way this way, Rick.
I'd be happy to. I love Chicago. It's a great city. I haven't been there enough. I've been there maybe twice in my entire life.
Oh, well, make sure you come in the summertime. Don't come in the winter.
Yeah. I was about to say, love you, Pam, but I don't know if I could brave it during the winter.
Yeah, no, not winter.
I'll be flying through there a lot, going to the East Coast to see my sons, because occasionally especially if I go to Pittsburgh, where my oldest son is, I have to go through Chicago all the time. So.
Oh, okay. Well, wave when you're in the plane. Maybe I'll see you. I'll wave back. So one of these days, maybe you can have an event here. That would be great for us Midwest people that can't get to the East Coast or the West Coast. Yeah. So we're just here in the middle.
I will definitely. We'll look to put that together. In the coming future. Definitely.
Sounds great. Well, we'll let you go because we know you were short on time, and we want to thank you so very, very much for joining us, and we'll talk again another time.
You got it. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great night.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. For our listeners, too, if you'd like to email Wendy if you have any questions, you can email her at WendyAnn57@yahoo.com, and Ann is ANN. Like I said, the tickets and event information are on take2radio.com. That's with the number 2. Go to the front page. That's for the Syracuse, New York one. The Rochester, New York one on the 24th, I do not have that information on my website, but you can purchase your tickets at waterstreetmusic.com and look for the Mena General Hospital event information, and you will find what day it is, where it's at, what time the doors open, what time it starts, the ages, the ticket prices, and then you can also purchase your tickets at that time. The $175 platinum tickets from 6 to 7:30 includes platinum seating, photos, autographs, meet and greet 90 minutes before the show. It does not include VIP at the end. Limited number are available. From 10 to 11 p.m., the $100 VIP tickets are at that time, and it says preferred seating, show and one photo op at the end of the show. Limited number of tickets available for that as well. The $40 tickets are general admission, show only, 90-minute show featuring stories from behind the scenes at GH and question and answer session. And it looks like it's standing only. I guess you don't get a seat for that. So, but yeah, you can find all of that on that website. And I guess that's it for now. Also, if you love Rick the way we do, and if you're listening, I would assume that you do, be sure to tweet Ron and Frank that you want him to come back on GH. You know that that he's not dead, and he can't be gone too long. We want him back. So tweet at Carlavati Ron and Valentini Frank and let them know. Also tweet at General Hospital, too. So thank you, David, for joining me last minute. I know we didn't get to ask a lot of questions like we wanted to, but, when it's short time like this, we needed to get the event information out. That was first and foremost.
That was first and foremost. That's fine.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to get into my documents to find out what our next show is because this totally threw me off. I'm trying to look for it. Bear with me, people. David, sing to them.
Oh, put me on the spot. Why don't?
Okay, we have next show Thursday, October 2nd, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our special guest will be Paul Karafotis, and I hope I'm saying his last name correctly.
I think
but
so.
He thinks so. Good. Thank you for saying that, even if I'm not. And some of you may know him from Knots Landing. He played Harold. What was his? Harold Dyer.
Harold Dyer.
Yeah. On Knots Landing. He was also in Tom Cruise's movie All the Right Moves. He was in Fight Club with Brad Pitt, Lonely Hearts with John Travolta, Blind Date with Bruce Willis. And his latest movie is critically acclaimed crime thriller set in the mean streets of L.A. called Wolves of Savin Hill. So we'll be talking about that as well. And he moonlights as a children's book author, so we need to check that out and talk to him about it. And it's called Adventures of Charlie Bubbles. I think that is adorable. So that information will be going up on take2radio.com shortly, and we hope to see you that Thursday, October 2nd, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And take care, everybody. We'll be back again soon. Good night, and God bless.
Good night, everybody.
You say that so gently. Yell it out. Good night, everybody. Oh, good night, David.
Good night, Pam.
Get connected with Take Two Radio on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio. For email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit take2radio.com.